Welcome to Field Notes, where I speak with street photographers about the story behind some of their best shots. Today, I'll be speaking with the godfather of Melbourne street photography, Adrian Whear, about a shot he got in Bangladesh. Let's do it. Adrian, how you doing?
Hey, good, Mark. How you going, mate?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Adrian, I want to start to talk to you today. You're obviously one of Melbourne's most celebrated and noteworthy street photographers, but I actually first came across your work from a trip you took to Bangladesh. So I just want to start by talking about that trip and your memories from it.
Yeah, so I travelled to Bangladesh in February 2019, and I spent 3 weeks travelling around Dhaka and then the countryside around there. Become one of the most memorable 3 weeks of my life in that experience. It was incredibly challenging mentally, physically, emotionally. But at the same time, it was also incredibly rewarding. And, you know, I connected so closely with the people. I empathized tremendously with the people at the same time. I got to see, experience, meet, and put in situations that I never imagined in my life that I would be. And it's something I still carry with me now.
Fantastic. And what made you want to go to Bangladesh in the first place? Why there?
Look, I like my photography and I love culture.
Yep.
And I love people. So when I travel, I'm often looking at what can stimulate those three aspects: people, culture, photography, and usually the other one is food as well. I love looking at food destinations. And Bangladesh isn't really a food destination like a Vietnam or an India or Thailand and that per se. And I was planning on going to India at that time, and I was doing my research into India. And through that part of the research and I won't go to cut a long story short, I somehow come across Bangladesh and started seeing some work of a photographer out of Bangladesh, and it just blew my mind. And I started doing some research onto that. And then the appeal to me became going to a country it's the least visited country in the world by tourists.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of going to a country that was purely genuine. I speak to a friend who I've known for many years who went to Cambodia before Cambodia was known or on the tourist trail, and they talk about how incredible it was then. They say it's still incredible now, but how incredible it was then when it was not known, and literally they were the only tourists going through it.
Yeah.
And that experience and that appealed to me, and to have that opportunity to maybe experience something like that was, like I said, appealed to me, and I just started doing the research and set myself up to go there.
You mentioned that the country blew your mind. The shots that you got blew my mind when I first came across them. Was it 2019 you went? Or
2019, yeah.
19. Well, I just want to talk to you about one of your shots that you got. Now, this shot here, the first shot that I saw of yours, tell us where's this and how you got the shot.
Yeah, so this is on I can't remember the actual name of the province, but it's on the outskirts of Dhaka. And there is an annual festival, and my pronunciation is going to be off, but called the Bishwa Ijtema. And I hadn't heard of this, and it just happened I was there when it was on. And basically, it is the second largest annual gathering of Muslim in the world annually. And like I said, I hadn't, and I'm sure almost virtually no one from Western countries had heard of this event. And it's a 4-day event, basically, where people from Bangladesh and Muslims from many other countries come into Bangladesh. And it's a religious festival where they literally discuss the tenets of the Quran and Islam and all that there around it. And there is millions who come in for it each year. And so we got up at 2:00 one morning, me and a couple of people I was with, and I wasn't on a tour per se, but I connected with people from the Bangladesh Photographic Society. And we went out to witness this event. And the highlight of this event is on a Friday, which is the holy day in Islam. And we stood on this footbridge, and at the the most sacred time being that early afternoon prayer, all the mosques are full and there's nowhere to film, and everybody spills out onto the streets to be able to pray, and it just stops. And as far as I could see on this freeway in front of me and behind me and to the side of me were people praying. And I know you've seen the pictures, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Once this was done, then at the end of that day, the people who've travelled into Dhaka or into the province, there's all these tent cities set up for them to go and stay at the night. But the people who live nearby, they go home for the day and then they come back the next day to continue this, congress. And so they head to the local train station, one of them there. And this train station, there is tens and tens of thousands of people at this train station, and you literally can't move. And there's only like 2 or 3 platforms, and it's not like a city. These are platforms in the middle of nowhere, like just a couple of platforms in the middle of nowhere and about 4 rails. And so trains across, and it's literally shoulder to shoulder people everywhere. And I'd seen pictures before, and I'd heard about people jumping between the trains. It doesn't just happen in Bangladesh, it happens in India and things like that as well. And why exactly they do it, it's crazy. I suspect that part of it, again, it's so crowded on the platforms. It's the easiest way to get across, the quickest way to get across, especially if you want to catch a train. Of course, it's only the young men who do it. I suppose that they're the only one who have got the nerve or the bravado or the stupidity to do it. They're also probably the only one who are athletic enough to make that leap at the same time. And so I literally was walking between these trains, or getting crushed between these trains, and all of a sudden I just see this movement above me
flying across,
and there's somebody jumped across the train. And I go, holy crap! And then I looked and just stood there for a number of minutes, and people were jumping back and forth. And so I just put my camera up and started shooting and all that there. And then that shot that you showed is perfect because you've got a person going in each direction.
That's right.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to catch them both in the middle.
Well, it's a cracking shot. As you say, the timing's just incredible to get those 2 people going in opposite direction right in the center. And even in the foreground, you've got this kid, I assume sort of in his teen years, looking out the window, and all the other people looking onwards. It's just a cracking shot.
I framed that kid in the window deliberately, and I had got a few. And that shot looks like I was getting crushed and pushed on either side by other photographers around me. Also, when I say mostly Bangladesh photographers, again, I saw a Chinese or an Asian background person there, and then myself. So they're the only sort of 2 Bangladesh or non-Islamic people I noticed at that time. But Bangladesh Photographic Society, there was many photographers there, not just for the train jumping, for the whole event and all that there on it.
How long did you stay at this location? Did you hang around for a while, or was this just a quick shot that you got and then you kept moving? Or
no, I was at the train station for about I can't remember exactly, but I would say it'd be about approximately a couple of hours, getting a number of different shots and all that there of it. But it's funny, even though train jumping, once I sort of got these shots of them jumping trains, even though I saw it subsequently from there, I didn't shoot it apart from this time. I sort of got that shot and I was focusing on other shots or other experiences I could get. I went inside the trains and was trying to shoot from inside the trains out. When trains were arriving, because everybody sits on the trains to travel. Like on the roofs of the trains is just hundreds of people. So as they're coming into the platform, I'm trying to shoot those trains and they're waving Bangladesh flags at the top of it. Getting people climbing up to the roofs, down to the roofs from the roofs of the train, and just like life around it. So I spent a couple of hours there, but probably the train jumping shots, I probably spent, I don't know, I can't remember exactly, 10 minutes at the most shooting that particular scene.
And look, we've spoken about just one photo today. If people want to see more of your work from Bangladesh, can they find it on Instagram or website, or how can people, because you've got some absolutely breathtaking shots from the country. So if everyone wants to check out more photos, where do they go?
I'm a bit slack when it comes to all that. It's pretty much Instagram would be the way to go on my Adtamo account, ADTAMO. And then you'll have to just keep, they're a fair bit down in my feed now since it's back a couple of years. But look, most of my shots in Bangladesh are through my Instagram account. You'll just need to work to find them.
Yeah. Well, I know one that there should be a book one day, Adrian, definitely. So get working on that.
I'm not sure about that.
Absolutely.
Always good to chat, Mark. Always good to chat.
Lovely to chat, Adrian. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, thanks.